Give it to him. But also Kissi Agyabeng on Kanokre. Nobody is going to jail from the OSP's department. Nobody is going to go to jail. This guy is protecting people who have offended us, people who have stolen from us. You know, what is stopping you? Because you are protecting Ken Ofori-Atta, because you know what you are doing, because that is what you are using the office for. And this again, on Kanokre. It's got to do with the OSP. Kissi Agyabeng and the Obeye press conference, the OSP of Ghana. This man is called Kissi Agyabeng. Obeye press conference and over 2 hours and Obekain a year brofo etre Ghana for. Now the OSP Bekache nyina a year Assembly Okache recently said he's going to respond, or no, he will be responding to a year issues surrounding the Ken Ofori-Atta extradition and other matters na account about his collaboration with the Attorney General, about a year Juma on year investigations are on year. And what brought about this? All these started when, because of a document to be better Ghana for say the OSP Kissi Agyabeng is a liar, and the earlier we accept or start to prepare ourselves to get the Attorney General to take over the case is a OSP hono, we will all be disappointed at the end of the day. And the Kissi Agyabeng is the biggest scam, is the biggest lie, is the biggest comedy shower me as a young man, a Ghanaian. It is the biggest antics, the biggest gymnastics. It is the biggest comedy session I've witnessed for a year, all the years I've lived on this planet. Over the years, you in Kofua omye jokers, you comedians, you people who pretend, you people who always want to be smart, people who basically are pretenders, you know, people who in their own senses think say they can fool everybody all the time. And what the OSP Kissi Agyabeng exhibited this afternoon in Ghana on national television should tell every single Ghanaian said this guy is one dangerous human being we are not supposed to rely on. And if we are all watching tonight, every single Ghanaian, after listening to Kissi Agyabeng this afternoon, we need to now prepare our mind to have a better state agency that is ready to fight corruption, to take over the corruption cases many Ghana from Ekufuado's era till this time. Because if we are going to rely on Kissi Agyabeng, then it means to say the fight against corruption, Yajin say his office is going to do anything about it, you know. We are fooling, or we will be fooling ourselves to believe that. It is not in my place to decide whether Kissi Agyabeng keeps his job or sacked. So Busamia, I'll tell you, I don't need him as the special prosecutor. But as a nation, we need to start thinking of looking at other avenues that we can believe and trust to do what? Fight corruption. Because Kissi Agyabeng, as we can see from his utterances, his deliberate acting, his comedy that he has been putting up all this while and climaxing it up to this afternoon in Ghana, no, we have no hope working with Kissi Agyabeng in fighting against corruption. Yeah. And I'm going to prove to you why. I'm going to take my time. Mr. S, can you cut this piece, the ones I sent you? Can you cut all the pieces and put on the background for me? And the Kissi Agyabeng by the kind of Bria, and say, and I'm sure Pass say 99% of Ghana for Mutie, no, he fooled them in his head. Nani Trimuno, he had a strategy. And the strategy was that let me go in, let me talk plenty, and avoid the most important thing. The reason why in Tiana a few weeks ago we were all over this roof, we were all over our voice speaking and shouting was because we wanted Kissi Agyabeng to do one thing. And there was only one thing we were all asking, because you would say Kissi Agyabeng at the end of the day, we will all tell ourselves, say, we have made progress when it comes to extraditing Ken Ofori-Atta to face a Ghana court for us to know where they have to be put. So it does not matter Kissi Agyabeng staying on air for 10 hours, TV for 2 hours. It was a simple question we all asked this guy. This guy is a pure actor. he is a slimy actor. Ordinary one of those people who make Christianity dangerous. So who Kissi Agyabeng na who wa bam wo one ne ja Kissi Agyabeng. Kissi Agyabeng a dangerous human being. And the reason why I say that is because he knows how to maneuver. Even today in his presser, he tried to, at the end of the day, put the Attorney General in a position whereby it will be difficult for the Attorney General to even be asking him questions again. And that is how smart and diabolic this dangerous guy is. The reason why I say he's dangerous is that he's dangerous because before he makes any move, he knows the consequences that's coming. He first of all deals with the consequences because he knows the possible questions that will come. So psychologically, he is a Ghanaian on the Ghana for Nyini. And he knows how to get into our mind. And that is what Kissi Agyabeng displayed, exhibited today on national television for 2 hours. I laughed throughout the whole 2 hours because I took my time to listen to his comedy. So I know what Kissi Agyabeng and say Kissi Agyabeng ton adiamawa onima de kura oton. Kissi Agyabeng it is not different from a liquid soap doing this.
2 bashi 2 pelekes. 1 bashi 2 pelekes. 1 bashi 2 pelekes. 2 bashi 2 pelekes.
When we crying 2 bashits, class 2 bashits where? Towel.
Towel.
Towel. I want the pink,
towel.
The price.
Hey,
the pure case.
Towel. 2 bashi 2 pelekes. 1 bashi 2 pelekes. 1 bashi 2 pelekes. 2 bashi 2 pelekes.
When we crying 2 bashits, class 2 bashits where? Towel.
Towel.
Towel. I want the pink,
towel.
The price.
Towel.
The pure case.
Towel. 2 bashi 2 pelekes. 1 bashi 2 pelekes. 1 bashi 2 pelekes. 2 bashi 2 pelekes.
What you are seeing on TV, that is the same thing Kissi Agyabeng did today. Or the two, or the nyama mienu chiro, no ma tom mienu na mao. Onim adimpo a oton amao. But unim, the trimuno onim the oton amao. But Obama wajre will say onim the oton. What Kissi Agyabeng did today was rehashing or going back or remixing this press conference awaye nyina besin ne. Kissi Agyabeng today did not introduce any new thing to Ejuma awaye. The $50.5 million that we have spent on his office, Kissi Agyabeng today could not justify that money we have given to him. You see, sir, after listening to him, most of you, Ghana for Bibrika say, na kwa who you see a Jimmy ana, and that is on the lips of people who, with all due respect, at a point, he used figures, numbers, words to convince even the foolish middle class for them to think, say, he is presenting something new. What Kissi Agyabeng did today on national television for 2 hours, it was pure comedy. It was a remix of what he has done already. There was nothing new in what Kissi Agyabeng did today. This nigga B, or a dangerous guy. Now, we are going to go into Adia and the Oyeye. Now, if Ube say Kissi Agyabeng is not somebody we can trust to lead an investigation. Today, he did something. And what did he do? Press conference. Ube Busa will say, okay, again, Kissi Agyabeng a press conference about 2-3 things. The reason why our press conference in say, Attorney General letter ekoma Kissi Agyabeng after Kissi Agyabeng actual letter come at a office of the president through the chief of staff's office say, oh here a way or a green light to go and bring Ken Oforiatta in. And a chief of staff can say enye mejuma a Attorney General juma. and Attorney General Cho letter come Kissi Agyabeng Kissi Agyabeng Kissi Agyabeng. You know something? Ye nyoma be mienu miensa pe firi ho. Ye nsaka sa nyoma na whatever assistance you were asking from the Jubilee House, we have it. We will give you to extradite Ken Ofori-Atta to Ghana. That's it. And nyoma be na eye Attorney General ebusa Kissi Agyabeng. Obusa na okachen say, one, or say, offer a copy of the docket in its current state. Onfambre eye dien or no Attorney General. Okachen say, baby, why investigations ne drubiano? For sa investigations no docket no document ni na fa breme. Or say baby we drubia. So it did not matter where Kissi Agyabeng investigations they do. Two, or say an investigative report. Or say investigative report so baby a why drubiano sa eno so no fabra. Now onim say sa report na inconclusive. Unwie the investigations and the investigative report ni na unwie no. Or say for our investigators account to assist him to look into it, and if they have to complete it together and take the next step. So all that we as Ghanaians through the Attorney General, we were asking Kissi Agyabeng and Nyoma Miensape, investigative report, dockets, and adding 2 investigators to go and conclude everything with the Attorney General. That's all. Enti na Kissi Agyabeng, na ye hia Kissi Agyabeng to come and tell us the obeka ninje. But let me open your mind on something. Ehona mi wi ana ma chiro azan eye Kissi Agyabeng ye nende. You cannot trust him because he's playing Ghana. He has taken $50.5 million. He still cannot account for the $50.5 million. He still cannot account for it. Now, Shadebia and they see, let me read a few of the things he spoke about today. Now, so we study Kissi Agyabeng some of the kind in the or say we start investigations be. I mean, bought the top from Ghana for. Now investigations, Ken Ofori-Atta ne aban mu nipa bi ete company bi. Na omo te company na company sebio enkrata ne nyira so a e wo se omutumi di dwuma bi e de den egege Ghana revenues. Sa company a Ken Ofori-Atta mo te ye no, ma me bought the top from PZ for. Also omo te company bi a omo de be kire PPA say oh company we de omo ye ne say omo boa e ma aban etumi gege eto ne yie. Enti sa company ne Ghana Revenue Authority ye dwuma bebi a ye gege ye to nyina afri no ye betuma gege eto no ekwan so a ebe ye hyew a emu bedawa Ghana benya sika dodo. Na time Ken Ofori-Atta de sa company ne ko kire eye PPA no PPA ka say sa company we eni ngina so eni experience eni de kire say betuma di sa dwuma de no. Na sa time Ken Ofori-Atta eye sa de no na company bi wo ho dada edi sa dwuma no ma Ghana sa company no 2015 and almost started di sa dwuma no. Now de na won wo mu nyina ne say Ken Ofori-Atta first company no de koye no ohun say yanji antum no PPA or the corner yanji antum no and osako change company ni din o ma nipa bi sa change company ni din ebe na SML. Now they see and say onim say SML no omuni experience biem omuni experience sa nyoma na omude call PPA procurement public procurement authority ye di deny say ye ntumi fa contract no no Ken Ofori-Atta na onim say sa new company na was a rebranding no old one a we rebranding no onim say ekoho a omesa pam no into the oye and say company na ene Ghana Revenue Authority GRA eye adwuma eboa ma ye gege eto no every different avenues government institutions e de ekoto ye no oma oni GRA mpenifo ne ka omuti bon ho ena omo force company ne say ono ni new company na what na any experience no engineer sa companies ne kon ho na se bi omo so engige sika omo gege eto di bi. Remember Ghana mrane kire say e was a PPA ema wo ho kwan say company bi krampo ebenya contract bi a eya ban contractor eya nipa oya GRA boss no entumi for ono ane pe ema sa company the contract Ken Ofori-Atta nim sa nti ene GRA boss for no mo nim sa nti de omo ye ne say omo ka say eya company na 2015 na omo contractor also omo gege eto na ye rekoto ye no omo ka say sa company no omo force ne say omo for the contract ni bi ema Ken Ofori-Atta company no na omo so engineer no kon ho na omo gege sika ni bi. Na nyame on pebone na sa company na omo ne aban eye adwuma dada no na omo contract na ebe end. Na de won wan say omo force ye e de Ken Ofori-Atta company no esi sa company no kon ho Otiase ena na omusu edi juma na emfa embrakwan mu. In fact, sa company na omu ye juma pa na ye de Kenoforiata company na si omukon so omunji sika ni bi no. Sa company na omumpene so. But eye GR mpenifo omu ba ya and Kufuado omu nyina ne Kenoforiata ka omu ti bon ho ena omu de sa company na share eye company dada no kon so by force oni omu nye juma. Now, je na ehu awasem nyina mu ne say ekonenim no sa company na sebio omudi juma ansana Kenoforiata yesi ye force the company abeshom kono omo contract na expire. And this a company the contract expire. That means say Kenoforiata company na esisa company ni kono automatically omo the company na also omo free contract nim. Nanso de na one say Kenoforiata company na ye share company ni kono say ono ngigi sika no. Sa company ni contract na expire no Kenoforiata company the contract na expire. Omo the contract na ema Kenoforiata company na PPA for nim Ghana by nim parliament nim ena GR mpenifo ne Kenoforiata tena ase ena omo term contract no edema Kenoforiata company na company dwumadie be na omo di so wo hwe dwumadie omo di ne potia na Ghana eto a ye gigi no mbiambia te se airport tema port eye immigration sa eto na ye gigi no wo nyina no omo na omo wo eye enusuade hu a omo tumi de gigi sa eto ni nyina yie edeto yie ma ye rekoto Bank of Ghana. Now didim bedum pempenso bi ehun say eye GR mpenifo ni nyina ne Kenoforiata ka omutiri bon ho ena na omu use sa company we illegally ena omu de gi Ghana eto no etua Kenoforiata de the company ne ka bobre a odisika fa ho enti sa wode wani tu pa na wo hwa Kenoforiata ege contract no illegally company ni illegal impenifo mo man ho kwan man ra na cha company no anyina no enso were part of the illegality ena na omu wiaye enti eye OSP so be ka kire ndani nyina no brofo tintin ni nyina no na o ka kire se Kenoforiata ene nipa bi ene ball kro no eno ano no en ade we ade a OSP aka kire dadaada yenim enya ade foforo enti ende so ko check eye news talking point na you see this. After the name change from SMEL, first company na Kenoforiata de koya na yanja tumno near from SMEL. Owie no ko change din na SML. After the name change from SMEL to SML, the revenue assurance contract was taken from West Blue Ghana Limited and awarded to the newly incorporated firm. Inti West Blue Ghana Limited no. Omuni company na sebio omo ho kwan se omo gigi sa eto no. But Kenoforiata de SMEL koya na yanja tumno. Osabe yi ni firo eno de SML ba ya oni GR mpenifo e de eye contract no by force omo de be see West Blue for kon ho say mo by force mo de Kenoforiata enye dwuma we afi what ase. Now after that no they see and say when in sama OSP beka kire ye nim ni nyina dada ensam foforo bi amaye. I am trying to give you an idea of azan any lies papa we be kire mo ne. I see GRA and SML deal was a masterful and mischievously crafted scheme by Kenoforiata. I see sa GRA omni SML for deal na omu kuki no na eyade a omu tena ho etwinwene ni ye edisi kwan mu a omu yoma se omu bomu trimu po ewia Ghana ska. This is not new. This has been there already. The first press conference or kan sansem we nyina rundown nyina maaye. Enti this is not new. And then better now in the kind of 2 hours. No? Now, Special Prosecutor Kissi say over 1.4 billion was paid to SML without proper monitoring or evaluation. It's the main thing in say. At the end of the day, Attorney General can say, Sanyoma wejina fabreno in its current form. But my mention tricky be. On say Special Prosecutor Ekasandeno. So what study SML for no ejuma also mo yankasa. Yes, so mo yede bibi a friend of revenue assurance. That means say juma na Kenoforiata ejuma kuo no edi nyina ne say yeto no omo begege no kwan paso hyew so se na akronu bia mbema ye betumenya enough eto revenue e de ato se oman. So we study special prosecutor and some all kan nyina. Ni nyina started from 2017 all the way to 2024. Now, baby, SML4 edi sikapa no between 2017 and 2020. Now, you see, Kenoforiata company na was say company na a revenue assurance. Yet for na omutumi gigi. Now Kenoforiata sa avenues are not ogigi etwo through SML no. There was a way he was supposed to get his money. Now he couldn't take the money from those places. He needed to follow the money and take his commission before the money ends up at Bank of Ghana. Remember, yajiji Ghana 20 free port. Tema yajiji ni free ni ended up at Ghana Commercial Bank. Edu Ghana Commercial Bank pay and now Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana and one consolidated accounts edem. Now, Kenoforiata knew say, oh yes, sir, you nyina illegally wajiji etuo ni nyina na baby a obeji etuo bia the commission that so through the SML company no. So he needed to chase the money. Now, ojiji etuo ni nyina no in 2020, sa sika na your friend revenue ni nyina no ekodi Ghana Commercial Banker. Na Ghana what accounts be your friend the slip account. Se sika ni nyina revenue ni nyina koduru ha na revenue na eden a slip ko na koto Bank of Ghana. Muka ise 2020. Mebeka kire mo say. Sa expose we am yen in 2020. Meka kire mo say. Eye 52 billion. Every Ghana Commercial Bank. Na sa sika na Auditor General, former Auditor General Dumelivo ye no. Sa sika na ko Bank of Ghana na nanka wo say e free ho. Eko Bank of Ghana no 52 billion, 52.5 billion was missing. Yehu be a fire. Now, so we read the Auditor General's report now or trophies as there is a particular place it will give you a sense why Kenoforiata's name or the finance minister's name was mentioned. Mamichro. And it's Kenoforiata episode or a revenue assurance contract. No, he knew what he was doing. Or did revenue in area? He would change the money all the way to Bank of Ghana, a Ghana Commercial Bank, take his cut before the money slips into Bank of Ghana. It will read a transfer of tax revenues by GCB to unknown source. So you see the unknown source. Now read here. Letter no was the 5th of October 2020. Now akabe 2 months near Kotwaba. 52 billion, 52.5 billion. A rai. Yehu. A SML the fast askano. And into the seen there. Omubuso almost say Sikana fahin almost say unknown source. A Kenoforiata SML. And an ye revenue assurance no. Omujiji revenue now. Because Kenoforiata wanted a way to be able to get close to the money. He only needed to build that what you call special purpose vehicle in the name of SML. The moment he puts that company together, that company is in charge of revenue assurance. It will make him as the finance minister, it will give him the opportunity to follow the money. Now he's not following the money in the interest of Ghana. Kenoforiata is following the money in the interest of SML. But because he's the finance minister, when he talks to Ghana Commercial Bank, they need to listen to him. It is as he can do Ghana Commercial Bank, no. So we read the Auditor General's report now. Ubehu Bebia, a man who said Kenoforiata took that money in the name of SML because of call it revenue assurance. Revenue assurance, no, and the springboard or the propeller. Etumi manikunya saskano. Into here. Regulation 12 of the Financial Administration Regulation FAR 2004 stipulates, and I quote, Auditor General Dinkan Koti emra nipa sikani kodi ninsem no wafom ansana waka diesi. Into check findings now. Paragraph 1. Or say a person entrusted with custodial duties of public and trust monies shall protect public and trust monies against the unlawful diversion from their proper purposes and against accidental loss, and locate such money so as to facilitate the efficient and economical discharge of public financial business. End of quote. Auditor General will say, answer about audit be odin kan quote to act na say they are buying sika sha wonsem na so wan hweso ye na e wo se bebia wo se ko na anko a emra ene ubedi. Now we read this second paragraph na eho e na kyerɛw say SML Kenoforiata edie no kwaji 52 billion no. Into we study paragraph 2 now. This is what it says. Mami enlarge paragraph 2 no. It will be easy for us to read. Over here. You see the paragraph 2? Let's read it together. The Ministry of Finance, in its quest to improve government revenue, engaged your service for the collection of tax revenue across the nation. Into Auditor General can say, Ghana Commercial Bank, the Ministry of Finance, in its quest to improve government revenue, engage your services for the collection of tax revenue across the country. To ascertain the integrity of the banking arrangement, we conducted a reconciliation of the flow of funds from the transit accounts into the designated Bank of Ghana holding accounts. Our examination of the transit account bank statement in relation to tax revenue showed that your bank, contrary to agreement for the funds to be transferred into designated Bank of Ghana holding account, transferred a total of 52.5 billion into unknown sources over the under review. The table below provides the summary of type of revenue transferred to unknown sources. The table below provides the summary of type of revenue transferred to unknown source, the details of which is provided in our web. Where I want you to pay attention is the second paragraph, the 2 lines. The Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance, in its quest to improve government revenue, engaged your service for the collection of tax revenue across the nation. It is not in the place of the Finance Ministry to engage Ghana Commercial Bank or any a revenue collection agency in collecting revenues. It is for Finance Minister to engage Ghana Commercial Bank. The Finance Minister was chasing that revenue. And Nitina Dumelivo Busa almost say, what is the Finance Ministry doing in this transaction? Because collect all the revenue, dump it at Ghana Commercial Bank, let it slip into Bank of Ghana. Why is the Finance Minister following? Because it's not the duty, the responsibility of the Finance Minister to follow the money and ensure that revenue mobilization and collection is effective. No, the Bank of Ghana, Ghana Commercial Bank, and the revenue authorities, Ghana Revenue Authority, they have to coordinate with Ghana Commercial Bank to send that money to Bank of Ghana. But in this report, the Finance Minister, the Finance Ministry, which was led by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, led the charge. Inti eho, and an ebusom say 52 billion. Where did it end? And I'm saying unknown source. Where is the unknown source? The unknown source in 2020 was SML. So you see, it is our study. Now, when you look at the revenue that came in, her revenue now, SML, you see, this is the document. Let me show you. When you read the oh, I'm sorry, it just disappeared. Oh man, okay, my away. Now, when you read the document, this is what you see. These are the revenues I'm collecting at the end of the day. Ken Ofori-Atta disappear into the unknown source. The Finance Ministry was following the revenue. Why? Why should the Finance Minister be following revenue that has been collected, which automatically has to go to Ghana Commercial Bank? What was his reason for following that money? The reason for following that money was because his SML at that time were the ones collecting the revenues, and he knew that his share was in there. He had to go there as the Finance Minister, acting as in charge of the ministry, to take 52.5 billion Ghana cedis. Now, IRS direct transit, IRS nkwa omo number of transactions 1,180. Sika na omo fire 17.4 billion. VAT indirect 18 billion. VAT communication service transit account 107 million. SEPS GC net revenue also 10 million. EPI customs account 1 billion. SEPS petroleum. So these were all the revenues SML boy and Ken Ofori-Atta followed it all the way to Bank of Ghana, Ghana Commercial Bank, and took the money. And International Auditor General Dumelivo Ebusa Ken Ofori-Atta any Ghana Bank say, Obusa Ghana Commercial Bank say, what was the Finance Ministry? What is their role in this? What is their role? Because so kind second paragraph now, it made it clear, say the Ministry of Finance in its quest, it is in the ministry's quest, the Ministry of Finance in its quest to improve government revenue engaged your services for the collection of tax revenue across the country. So study the ministry, at the end of the day, is not supposed to be involved in this. The finance ministry is not supposed to be involved in this. But because Ken Ofori-Atta wanted to enter Ghana Commercial Bank, he knew that he had to take his cut. SML had to take their money. That money that went to Ghana Commercial Bank, 52 billion, went to unknown source. Till date, we are asking, unknown source, anything. The former Ghana Commercial Bank manager, that man who was the manager there, is supposed to tell us where that 52 billion went. That man is supposed to be picked up by Yoko. He needs to answer those questions. That the unknown source, where is the unknown source? Unknown source ni ehfa. Ehina unknown source ni wo. Yentu for Ghana revenue mau at commercial bank to just transfer it to Bank of Ghana, and you tell us say the money went to unknown source. The man who was the head of Ghana Commercial Bank needs to answer question, because a Krobia man kasa man ko jail. Yoko needs to invite that man, bring this document out and say, under your watch, 52.5 billion of Ghana money revenue went to unknown source. Can you elaborate? How did it get to unknown source? Who and who were in charge of the money? When the money came or the money dropped at Ghana Commercial Bank, who signed it? Who were the people in charge to make sure the exact money that came from the revenue collection agencies, it's not tampered with, and that it goes through to a Bank of Ghana? So who tampered with the money? And what the unknown source is where? So you understand. Now, mommy and go back to the reason why I'm here when me will say, Ken Ofori-Atta, SML now, these are some of the damages he did. Now, mommy and go back to the actor, Kissi Agyabeng. Now, Obibe Busa say Kissi Agyabeng, the press conference where and Nyansa Benu, what was he asking? Kissi Agyabeng was playing games with you people. Kissi Agyabeng was lying to you people. Kissi Agyabeng, the OSP, is one of the best actors at Ghana in our history. The press conference, a man we hear, it was nothing. And let me tell you this. I see Nipebi, ena omokahu, ena Ken Ofori-Atta, ewia Ghana sika. Now, or the nipa we munyina edin ebetutu TV so say, papa your friend Kenel Damwa, now or your former customs commissioner, MP for German South. Kenel Damwa na mebo the video waha ni audio waha na offer custom officer lady Bikache de say, oil be aba port wo na sa oil no pirated oil. Na mema ne emun locking because Jubilee House dia bokai man way. And the oreta free customs no otumi di sika no pre-seat into a parliament, parliamentary immunity. Today is under investigations. I was say Alban Bagbin, Ekache say he should vacate his seat. Now, Uncle Tenefie, after the investigations are done, if he is clean, he can come back to parliament. Because we can't have a potential criminal making laws for us. As we speak, Kenel Damwa is a potential criminal. He's under criminal investigations, and he does not have to sit in parliament as an MPP MP to be making laws for us. This man needs to go home and wait until the investigations are done, because we cannot have a potential thief, an experienced potential thief, to be sitting in parliament making laws for us. We cannot allow that. And if Alban Bagbin, he's saying he's honest and patriotic as he always preaches, he needs to call this guy and tell him, go home. We cannot have you, because your presence here in this parliament basically tells the world that we are condoning criminality until you are cleared. You cannot sit in my parliament. But if Alban Bagbin refuses to do that, then Alban Bagbin himself needs to see himself like Kenel Damwa, because he is entertaining and condoning criminality in parliament. Kissi Agyabeng said these are the men who basically through the investigation he's done, omni Ken Ofori-Atta ewia Ghana sika. Into a man we your friend Kenel Damwa or be charge no. Your baba sa asem no so. Ose man we so another criminal. Kissi Agyabeng ne accomplices no ebieni. Papa we your friend Emmanuel Kofinti or your former commissioner GRA. Ose man we ka ho and on sign documents ni nyina bo a Ken Ofori-Atta emani wi Ghana. Enti papa we so nipa or ba be charge no. 3 or say papa we your friend Amisha Dai Owusu Amoa ono say former commissioner general GRA ona na ye boss or say papa we na oka ho na oni Kedoforiata ene omaka na ehye kuntu na se e de SML no e ball Ghana kro no into we so obe charge no so oye kromfo man we your friend Isaac Krenzel mikro mfantinyi or your former customs commissioner later GM to of SML Owie ne custom adwuma no SML for the Juma as the senior boss. E was sa company na obo mo ma omu dupi Ghana for no per the auditor general. O se man we so ya kromfo a obehwehwe ne nsem mu. Omu nyina ye Ekufuado appointees. Now, o sa man we your friend no Ernest Akori. Upeso oku Kedoforiata we na also dey duro no ma no your friend Chef de Cabernet. Oni de Kedoforiata be no wine kra. Oni de nkan twa so. No dey say was ken we dey poison him. When can Oforiata ne boko suata free de gufo no ketere ma fa ho ono enso ye nipa bi a ohu ni se ono so eka ho na can Oforiata ebo Ghana kro no edi ye dwurum into ono so obe charge no ewo saa kro no we mu Chef de Cabernet ni din Chef de Cabernet is a wine a free France and say bia wine papa bi a ahye selemu ache Chef de Cabernet ono so eno no yese kro no obomu ma ne totete ono so eka ho. Now, the interesting thing about this whole thing, Kissi Agyabeng ni nyina say, and the original TV so na ne ho popo, ne to sisa oya concert and hu nyina popo na no popo na onim se odi atrofa ne hwinimu no. 90% of Ghanaians na omohwe show ni nyina na say, omohwe Kissi Agyabeng comedy show ni nyina na say, they wanted Kissi Agyabeng to tell us say, my investigations are bedru ha. Intend make catch Ghana for say ejuma ma ye nie. May the paper way, krata way, air comma, attorney general. That is all that we're waiting for as Ghanaians. Now, the most interesting thing is, Odru baby na was say oka say or the Kedoforiata bebe fie ana onfanim be fie or the docket bema attorney general. Na attorney general activate the extradition no through the US agency, security agencies, you know. This is what he said. Mumianko tie Kissi Agyabeng, take your time and listen to him. He was speaking his words well because no him say Ghana for Jimmy. Now, press conference no almost 3 hours. No, this is the part at the end of the day na important. Dia kanya na nkwasi asem. Dia kanya na ode bedada mo. Na nyansa ni ba kumpom. In fact, from my source, what he did today, he had not even prepared it. This was done overnight. All the things he came to tell you, they are not things that he has worked on at Daho. No. They worked on this overnight. The partner na ye hear say Obama ye straightforward answer. Because Attorney General Busau or say, if you have the investigations, send it to me in its current state. Inti the Obaka chain in our investigations are. All right. Now let's go and listen to the comedian of the year.
7 January 2017. Kenneth Nanaya. Our intelligence was solid that this person just didn't want to come to the country voluntarily. By March of 2025, we had collected all the evidence that we needed to aid in the prosecution of this matter. However, 2 things were outstanding. 1, we needed official verification of a lot of the items that we had intercepted, especially in respect of communication. And this will require the input of our major foreign partners. Indeed, the packet arrived on Monday in validation of what we had way back in March. Then, early June, I think it was 10 June, we carried out further searches and seizures at 2 offices of SML, one in Accra in Osu and one in Tema. And there we retrieved computer servers and hard drives that had to be subjected to forensic examination. This work is not done overnight. And it is upon this reason that we informed the Attorney General when we kick-started the extradition process, that the dockets had not been bound up yet because we were waiting for something. At the OSP, we do not talk lightly. We knew what we were waiting for, and we have them fully now. We have uncovered all that is contained on the computer servers and the hard drives. And now on Monday, with the gracious assistance of our major foreign partner, we have the validation of the evidence that we had way back in March 2013. So, on 2nd June 2020, we triggered the extradition request because by March, as we said, we had all the evidence we needed. We only needed official validation of them. And that is why we triggered the extradition request on 2nd June 2020 through the Chief of Staff. The past few weeks, we are once again drawing negative flag that we who put him on our list of wanted persons, that the OSP that declared him wanted, that the OSP that declared him a fugitive from justice, that the OSP that went to Interpol in record time of 48 hours and placed him on Interpol's red notice, we were stalling the case and that we were wasting time. But once again, as I said, we knew what we were doing and we knew what we were waiting for. And last week when the Attorney General addressed the media, he said something very poignant. He said, these financial investigations require time and patience. And we ask, give us that regard of time and patience, we will deliver the results wanted like this. And as I said, before the expiration of November 2025, we will charge all these persons that I listed before the criminal courts. We will not stultify our own investigations. We will not delay our own investigations. We would do it right. We will be patient. We will be meticulous. We would have all the expertise in the world examine all, because we only have one shot at these criminal cases. We cannot go back, forth with it. And so, I announce to you, as we did by way of our press statement last week, that we are in full collaboration with the Attorney General's Department. We cannot work against each other. We are working for the same cause, which is the cause of the Republic of Ghana. And we cannot be at loggerheads. We cannot be in dispute. Sometimes, personalities and how one wants to do something may clash a bit, but that should not be taken as dispute or disagreement. Many of you do not know my relationship with the Attorney General.
When they start to say, you don't know my relationship with this person, that is where the corruption starts. Yani Ghana, we don't care about your relationship with Attorney General. You could be his lover. I don't care. You could be somebody who has licked his butt since you finished law school, or since he was your teacher. I don't fucking care. What we are talking about here is not about your relationship with Attorney General. What we are talking about here, Kissi Agyabeng, is simple. If you tell us that you were waiting for a document or a docket from your U.S. partners, if you have received those documents on Monday, all the nonsense you were making, we don't care. Why don't you hand over those things that you have now to the Attorney General? Because you see, Kissi Agyabeng Kasa the whole day, he still did not answer the question from the Attorney General. He still did not answer any of the questions from us. The question from us was, when are you going to hand over the docket to the Attorney General? Because the Attorney General catcher was say, hand over the docket in its current form. That is all. He said, hand over the docket, hand over the investigative report in its current form. Whether you have received a document from the US, from Asia, the Attorney General is saying, if you want to collaborate, hand over the thing to him and add 2 investigators or prosecutors. Let them come for him to sit with them. It in some oya concept ni nyina no. Ubu ye say yankwasiafo ana. What makes you a prosecutor? It shows that you are not up here solid enough to be a prosecutor. Because to make it easy for us, if you are telling us to say you are working and you want to work with the Attorney General is there. You are the same person who told us to say the Attorney General's office and then the authority to trigger the extradition of Eddie Kenoforiata. So it does not matter whatever investigations you do. It does not matter whatever you have gathered at your disposal. He's saying that whatever you have gathered in its current state, give it to him. But also Kissi Agyabeng on kanokre. The 2.5 hours of original TV sono. That is why we can say he's protecting Kenoforiata. And this guy has made it clear today, say nobody in Ghana can trust such a liar. He's a liar. Yeah. When did he start? When did this investigation start? He needs to tell us. Sir Kenoforiata investigations or starting at Daben. When did he officially start investigating Kenoforiata? They made Kenoforiata slip through their hands. He knew it. Amuja Kenoforiata no Uremu in January to leave the country. They knew. He knew what they were doing. Now the issue here is, it is a simple question. Question ebusa ono a year 2-hour response. Your relationship with Attorney General Ghana for you don't care. Whether you lick his butt or he licks your dick, I don't care. What I care about is, are you following the rules and regulations? Because when you went to the Jubilee House, when you wrote a letter to the Jubilee House, the end game was that you wanted permission to extradite Kenoforiata. The Jubilee House said the person who can give you that green light is the Attorney General. And the Attorney General says, bring the docket, bring the investigations in its current form and add 2 investigators so that I can move on. Nyamia on pebone, Monday ya saso aka information be a chain. Meaning, whatever you had, it has even, you even have more. So what stopped you today from telling Ghana for say, I want to today hand over the investigations in its current form to the Attorney General? What stopped you? You are a liar. The OSP is the one aiding Kenoforiata. He's dilly-dallying. He's playing on your conscience. This man cannot be trusted. Anytime I say, I am not in the position to say sack Kenoforiata by whoever has to sack him. But what I am saying is, we as a nation, we need to start thinking. We cannot hand over an office like this and say, "Sir, office will be to fight corruption." We can't. If the NDC government is going to fail, Kissi Agyabeng will lead that failure. Because you see, there's nothing this guy, say, he is ready to hand over the information he has. Right now, he is telling us to say, he is now going to to charge these people November. And psychologically or statica side or sitting in Attorney General or the Attorney General pa be an on new school or chair dear now Attorney General cry a press conference Attorney General can say when it comes to issues like these criminal investigations it needs time. He needs time. It is not the time you need. It is not Attorney General telling us to say, in criminal investigations, you need time. It's about you handing over the docket and investigations to the Attorney General. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do such a simple thing? Monday, also saying lots and lots of documents from the United States. It even gives you every right to say, whatever I was waiting for, Mensaka, Attorney General at Sum. What stopped this guy from doing that? He is protecting Kenoforiata. All the people he mentioned, Crocodile John, he cannot prosecute any of those 5 people. I'm telling you on authority. Kissi Agyabeng cannot prosecute Damwa, Oltumin Jelino, Obwa. He cannot prosecute Brekon. He cannot prosecute Amishadai. He cannot prosecute the 5 people. He's using them to confuse you. Now, are you going to charge Kenoforiata and these 5 people in different courts or in the same court? Because if you are going to charge them all under SML and you put them in one court, when one person is not around, you cannot prosecute. So are you going to put them in different courts and charge them differently? Because what you told us, the investigation is about the 5 people, including Ken Ofori-Atta or whatever. Now, are you going to charge them the same way you are charging Ken Ofori-Atta? Then if that is going to be the case, then there's no way. Because if these people are going to be charged in the same courtroom, with the same charge sheet, Ken Ofori-Atta, so Ghana, you can't jail him. And this is a game he's playing. He has spent $50.5 million since he came into that office. He has not been able to prosecute a chicken. Listen, if Mama Kancho, Ken Ofori-Atta, or your old criminal, Ken Ofori-Atta, or you're an experienced thief, Mama Kancho, if Kissi Agyabeng cannot prosecute Charles Bisu, Kissi Agyabeng cannot put Charles Bisu in jail. If Kissi Agyabeng cannot put Paul Ademotre, a thief like this, a small minds like this, in jail, if all those small people, Kissi Agyabeng could not put them in jail, I swear to God, he cannot put any of these 5 people in jail. He can't. On what basis? How can he do that? How is he going to do it? How is Kissi Agyabeng going to put? Because let me tell you, these 5 people that I mentioned to you, Damwa, on your small fish, I'm telling you, he has money to defend himself for almost 10 years. Sakana Damwa, we are to be Sikeko Parliament. He has money. He can defend himself for 5 years. You see this guy, Kofinti. He was a GRA boss. This guy has money, and he's not a small fish that you can say, Adiachi, my brother November, me the child shit akoto machina tum. You cannot. And this guy who cannot put Charles Bisu in jail, who cannot jail Paul Ademotre, this guy cannot jail this guy. I'm telling you, on authority. He cannot jail people who used to be commissioners of GRA. He can't. These are people who are holding money. They control. These are not chicken that you can drag and take to court for a judge to mishandle or for any prosecutor to mishandle. These are people who control. So you should see clearly that Kissi Agyabeng, as the special prosecutor, the fact of the case is that they say he is lying. Whatever he did today is a lie. Now, journalists are call program not sending Busan questions in there. Now here there. Now Shadia, because now Shadia. Thank you very much. On say mibusa eye Kissi Agyabeng say, when did he actually start investigating SML? And I'm a Honorable Kissi Agyabeng, they aided Ken Ofori-Atta. They knew they wasted time. If they didn't aid, they wasted time because they knew what they were doing. See, my mentor Adewi, time Ben or started investigating SML. Ken Ofori-Atta to be free Ghana call he could not stop Ken Ofori-Atta from leaving because someone started investigations at a particular time. Then Ken Ofori-Atta wasn't supposed to leave the country. This is January 2024. 2024 January. OSP probes SML and GRA deal 2024 January. And I'll start investigations. So if you started investigations in 2024 January, how were you able to sit there aloof and allow Ken Ofori-Atta to leave the country without stopping him and saying that you are the main suspect? Because that time you had started probing, you had started investigation. So it means you knew that Ken Ofori-Atta was guilty from 2024. Because there was no way you started the SML deal without knowing that the finance minister was the integral person in this investigation. From January 2024, you sat down, you took your eye off, you allowed Ken Ofori-Atta to put things in order. After 2024, we entered 2025, Ken Ofori-Atta left the country. You sat, you did not issue anything. You did not put any ban on Ken Ofori-Atta from leaving this country. You sat there, allowed Ken Ofori-Atta to leave. The moment he left, you told us that you are telling the Interpol to put a red alert on him. He's a fugitive from justice. You are lying. For a whole year, you sat down, you watched the guy, you had the dockets. My investigations even shows that docket, it has been with you. You started the investigations, you knew everything about Ken Ofori-Atta's involvement in the SML. Everything was pointing to Ken Ofori-Atta but you decided to take your eye off because you wanted to create an exit for him to go. The moment he leaves, then you can come and make noise that I want to catch him, I want to catch him, I want to catch him. You knew what you were doing. 2024 January, and I will be a GRA SML deal also, and I will start to probe here. The OSP is a liar. This man, we cannot trust this guy. Hey, if this guy is still the OSP, we should forget about the fight against corruption. We should forget about it. Nobody is going to jail from the OSP's department. Nobody is going to go to jail. This guy is protecting people who have offended us, people who have stolen from us. How can you tell me in 2024 you open probe into SML deal and you never question Ken Ofori-Atta? You wanted to tell me all the way January 2024 you didn't know Ken Ofori-Atta was the lead in this criminality. Ken Ofori-Atta left after a year, January 2025. Aban Sisaya now say Ken Ofori-Atta should leave because he didn't believe that the NDC, they were going to win the elections. If the NPP had won, this investigation would have been a piece of shit to you. So when the election changed, that was when Ken Ofori-Atta got the sign that he needs to exit because the SML deal, the new government, they were going to come after it. Now, Aban for front air beshishim. So you created a window for Ken Ofori-Atta. You took your eye off the window. You let him escape. Then later came and said, you are looking for Ken Ofori-Atta. Where is he? Now they told you that, oh, he's gone to America. He's sick. No. He needs to come back. 1 year, you allowed this guy to escape. Today, you are telling us that you need time. Hand over a document and investigation with 2 of your investigators. You said no. And then Okasa 2 hours. You could not tell us in our face that the investigation in its current state, you want to give it to the Attorney General. What is stopping you? Because you are protecting Ken Ofori-Atta. Because you know what you are doing. Because that is what you are using the office for. And this again, you see, we should investigate the OSP. I am telling you, a special team should be put together to investigate the office of the special prosecutor. This man, his biggest fear is to leave office. Yeah? And your OSP office now, it is what to follow next. Because you see, whatever he has done there, the moment that title is taken from him, the people who want to speak will speak, and he knows it's not going to end him well. So what he's doing is that he's protecting himself. It's not that office. Because right now, what is protecting him, whatever he has done, which he knows, whatever is protecting him is that title, the special prosecutor. His fear is not leaving that office. His fear is that that title is taken away and that everyone can come in and say, this is my encounter. This was my encounter with this guy. This is what happened. That is his fear. So what he's doing now is stalling. He's stalling every single thing. He's making sure the office does not move. He's going to use that his influence to stop everything. And the more he keeps that office, stalls everything, slows the pace, he still keeps his office as a special prosecutor. It's a game plan. Now here, the journalist who went there asked him simple questions. Now Moshe, his reaction. Journalists people say, okay, about Ken Ofori-Atta extradition, no, obusa the question me, muntie the answer.
See, the first person who has a question got it right. It's really about semantics. See, extradition requires a lot of complex dealings. You know, why is it going through the Attorney General? It's because the Attorney General is the central authority when it comes to these things. In some matters, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is the central authority. So if the Attorney General was in the central authority and we could just go, we would have just gone. The Attorney General is not the only in the chain. When it goes through, it goes through our mission and it comes all the way back around to us because we initiated the process. It is unfortunate that there is talk about we have been asked for a docket and we have refused to give the docket and all. That is beside the point. That is not the issue at all. The issue is that you need to get it right the first time. You don't keep going back and forth. You need to get it right the first time. So when on 13th June, we responded to the Attorney General and we said that the docket is not yet boarded up. We meant exactly that. Now, someone asked about timelines, and no, that's not how we do these sensitive cases, to give timelines in the public domain, especially as the final decision will not be taken by the OSP. The final decision will not be taken by the Attorney General. The final decision will be taken by whichever foreign jurisdiction in which he is. U.S. citizenship. If he applies and obtains U.S. citizenship, we have been giving Ghanaians to the U.S. on extradition requests. And they will also be nice to give us U.S. citizens upon request. So the citizenship status does not prevent extradition. Only that when a person is a citizen of another country, it is more difficult to extradite a person to a foreign country. But we'll still move on with the processes and ensure that Ghanaians become less restive and appreciative of the issues and the work we are doing with the Attorney General. Wait or continue? We are not waiting for anyone. I said we are filing our charges, and Director of Prosecutions has promised me, because I'm expecting his charges tomorrow. And then I'll review. It takes a while, because when it goes from the investigative setup to and the asset recovery setup to me, then to him. Now the baton is with him now. He is anchoring on the third link, and he will finally give it to me tomorrow. And then we'll file. So, see, I said before the end of November, we will file. We are not waiting for anyone. Persons can be tried in absentia. We've seen it before. You can be sentenced in absentia anytime we find you in the jurisdiction.
Now you see, he's lying. The guy is blatantly lying to every single Ghanaian. Oh, you say you're Jimmy. Now the question was, can Oforiata at this point? Wama de be also some tiasie. Yeah, about extradition, it requires a lot of it's so complex. Oh boy. Now Okanyana or say, oh, you know, in fact, central authority the Crown sometimes, you know, if you want to Attorney General if you are a foreign ministry, our foreign mission, or can be to say U.S. embassy, Ghana embassy in the U.S. Right now, he's throwing every nonsense out. He's throwing every nonsense out. The guy is basically telling you people, go fuck yourself. I'm not doing anything. That was his press conference today. I don't have shit for you. At a point, Okachira must say, he is now thinking of charging them. Yes, if for docket the bra, also charge it. Bring the docket. The whole thing is not about you charging him. The whole thing is about bringing Ken Oforiata to face Edian court. When we bring Ken Oforiata, we can charge him. So do the first thing first, so you can see he's stolen, or dinkai or dilemo, because onimse Ken Oforiata air pre citizenship for America. The day Ken Oforiata citizenship be ready, Obeka Chamo say Ken Oforiata yen to me for them back. Inti Okasa ya no kodu no say the docket no it doesn't make sense, because it's not about or no any docket in my Attorney General. See you know. So the letter Attorney General extra bread say onfa instructions no onfa on ready so obey you. And I went in the language, you know. From what he's saying, when he tried to summarize it up, or catcher will say, he is not ready to give any docket to the Attorney General. He's not ready to give any investigations to Attorney General. He's not ready to send any investigator. He is telling you, say, he is preparing his own document to go and charge them. So he is never today, tomorrow, the next going to give any docket investigations to be on the matter. On for Bibiamano.
I will say more Bibia Quaba. Inti way a sema Kevin Ekobody Tailor, editor dra. Efa OSP Kissi Agyabeng ehun. Na mimi susu se yewra President John Dramani Mahama. In fact, wa relax ya che. Na mami panyin ankasa kra okọ tokonu kra akọ enti Kissi Agyabeng de o giden ewo office wono. Kissi Agyabeng ye pobia ama odi kinofrata beba. Kissi Agyabeng will never do that. Per expose a Kevin Tailor de bay. Onyenye na adwen eno ono ankasa ahwe ne actions. Wohwe ne niye, wohwe hye de osi totoro niema. Oni interest so the kinofrata ebeba. Oni interest so the kinofrata eba be piem wo Ghana ha. And who born dog say kinofrata ene oti America acquire citizenship senka wo ye papa ka dinti ene ya boni din free tete kinofrata since the beginning of this year NDC baso ya boni din enti senko ya de papa enka dinti o ma bontin emeyi ni din emesan ni ti senka ade kinofrata eye no sebi onimse wa ya de papa enka nyobia na beka se kinofrata ntina bebi o so tena enka kinofrata will come by himself. Enka kinofrata beden ebeba enka ono ankasa beba be clear ni din obeba ba be ka kire Ghana for se ampa mabomidin sebi ma wie sika sebi ma sign contract bi nima hunu bi ko so aban ni mu na me hya ase and all those nima mo de atomo so eneme kinofrata mabakana eba yimi ho ano. And I have documentations at HSS. I nima na mo yini mo di tube so ni na no fallacies na wo wia wasne seal OSP account na ko wasne seal anybody who alleges say wo ye aye amokan say wo ye corrupt ba yemisa yan sa dentia enya mapinsa adentia kinofrata mai just simple question omega me na me bisa. And I know say one so be sa question sa dentia kinofrata intimi emeyi ne wano if only say nka wayare papa nka esiden nka America to Ghana no about what about 19 hours crime show say drew less than what less than 24 hours nka oba bitima be pm o Ghana no abeyeden abeyuti. But because of say onim waye because of say sebi okwadu odwane amdika tente onim de odi na chinti no he will never return. He will never what set his eyes back because onim say ade na waye no be piem o Ghana ha yediri betum. Ene yemi ya because yemi ya na meboa so obitimi itimi US vote me ba Ghana ha ebetam obi edene ko in the name of fraud, in the name of scamming, in the name of stolen cars. But yeno ye kofa obi yankase ye nipa anye US or money power ye nipa utimi before ye a citizen edene ko. But why say ye obi ye say the story it doesn't make sense. What can I see no so analyze that doesn't make sense. Obi ye citizen and not just a citizen. Obi a was serve aban mu ama aban ni twam na ye say or ye corrupt into omra me ni one no. Okay, sit then na nipa no ontimeba. Sit then na aban no US aban be shield no. There is nothing like US aban or shield no. Na ye OSP no and on person de kinofrata beba. It sema kinofrata ken na no se bi nyansa ewo. So basic kinofrata. And sema omo kan say Kevin Tailor ken na no edana akon so. And sema Kevin Tailor ken na no sanity because sebi ebudu sebi nyado ye ntrase enhwe mansifo anfo Yewura John Mahama opanyina wotena se ma nkwadaawe na nka yebu na nka wefo ka ho papa ede woni madeja obi enkasa nche me de me nkasa bebre yesi OSP no ede woni madeja deal with him accordingly because yentimi ntena se e ma Kinofrata maka kire mu ka kire NDC for say there is no way Kinofrata and Sigan Hamian prosecute NDC be win 2028 election me take it from me na me ka kire. There is no way Kinofrata so one fan near Missikulum and as young prosecute in fact abayan fan san to the party so now one G and Triangle Foka and Bonica. There's no way this will win 2028 election. Take it from me, na me ka kire. Take it from me. No na me ka kire because inyabre papa. We voted for what change. We voted for what those people who do money to be what prosecuted. And mudi anymore campaign no baako ene ye Kinofrata saa sika omo bu so dubu ahe hama hwane Hamid no Mustafa saa nkofo nyina ye nkwara nketo mesi kukutie Kinofrata na charges omo de ato no so a yembe hyew eti Kinofrata nim de waye ntia odwan kire wadwo comment section Kevin Nyankopɔ kyira ho bye bye.